Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Daily Bread. We're talking about something that affects young adults daily, and that would be social media and how it affects our mental health more specifically. And we're constantly scrolling through posts and stories and videos, especially right after we wake up. Go to the toilet and start scrolling on Instagram Reels or TikTok, but we rarely stop and think about how that all might be affecting how we see ourselves and our lives. For this episode, I looked at some psychological research and articles about something called social comparison theory and how social media platforms create unrealistic standards and even some addictive behaviors. So before we get into it, I want you to introduce you guys to our guest. Go ahead.
Hello.
What's your name?
Leah.
And Leah, do you ever feel like social media ever affects how you think about yourself?
Yes, at least in the sense that during childhood, growing up, I definitely believe that social media was the foundation of my identity. And, just basing what I liked on trends and what most people were into, I just believe that social media was the key to becoming socially accepted.
Wow, and I think that actually brings you to, that actually explains like a subsection of a bigger issue that psychologists have been researching, and that's a theory called social comparison. And that theory is basically where people naturally compare themselves to others in order to figure out where they stand in life, and this could be measured in things like success, appearance, money, and even achievements. Social media supercharges this a lot. And this is because instead of comparing yourself to just a few people around you, like in the classroom, have a horrible fit, or you're an idea and they're all wearing the same fit, on social media, you're being exposed to thousands of people online. And most of them are only showing you the best parts of their lives, not the full reality. So when young adults constantly see these perfect visions of other people's lives, it can slowly affect their self-esteem and confidence. Like, have you ever felt yourself comparing yourself to someone you saw online?
Well, when it comes to fitness, I think many people are actually finding themselves emotionally closed off and physically insecure because of how they see other people achieving the success online. Even though we know that it's usually all fake, it's just glamorized success. And it can really affect our self-esteem over time when we're trying to obtain a goal that someone seems to just glamorize to be like so simple.
Yeah, and I especially think that a loop happens, especially in that fitness that you mentioned, where someone who's insecure will gain that confidence and maybe start exposing themselves to feel a certain validation, which would then lead to other people feeling a little bit more insecure. What do you think?
Well, I mean, when it comes to being an Aggie, I think that it's really just a matter of motivation to be who you want to be, because social media can just be detrimental to your motivation.
Yeah, and I think everybody's mental health deteriorates when it comes to social media, like affecting them that way. But another big issue is unrealistic standards that are placed on most people when they get onto social media. Social media creates a heavy unrealistic standards like six-pack abs, like an unrealistic diet, like 5 fucking spinach leaves per day, just to lose 20 pounds in under a week. It's unrealistic, and most of the time it's extremely unhealthy. And the people online, they just show the best parts of it. They don't show the process or the struggle. They just show vacation, money, perfect relationships, perfect bodies, just all the sorts, perfect cars. But they leave out all the struggles that got them there. And nothing's that easy. And I had to learn that the hard way. And it makes people like feel like they're falling behind. And when I experience this, it's because of day trading. I saw day trading some guy on TikTok. He was bragging about like waking up at 8 in the morning, working for 30 minutes on the open market, and then selling, like making out like 8K in 10 minutes. And I thought, damn, I want to do that. I want to make some easy money, you know, hopefully make a living off of it. And when I tried getting some deeper information, you know, looking at things like that, I ended up always finding myself at the end of a fucking paywall. Just like, hey, buy my program and I'll help you do this. And the one guy that I saw did it on his Discord, but he didn't really help. Didn't really show you how to do anything. He more or less just kind of spoke to you and made you seem like you're doing something. But you're probably just wasting your time. And it made me realize how easy it is for social media to create such a fake illusion of success. I mean, like, Leah, have you ever seen something online that made it seem way easier than it actually is?
Maybe like the gym aspect, trying to get bigger, or academically. I mean, I'm an Aggie, so you can imagine just how difficult it is in the mathematic department, especially engineering. There's actually so many people who are trying to do aerospace, and it's just comparison upon comparison, comparing GPAs, comparing scores. You go on Instagram notes, you see everyone crashing out, and then you see some people like talking about how they got such a good grade, and you're just there like, oh, and what am I doing to make it into the program I'm looking for? It's just an endless cycle of, am I doing well enough, or am I not trying hard enough? And am I gonna be stuck in the same place forever? It's a hard loop to get out of.
Yeah, and I think like that feeling must just suck for people. That endless cycle of just feeling like, shit, am I not doing enough? Like, should I be doing more? How come they're able to do more and I'm not? It happens a lot more than people realize. And that's gonna lead us to our last big problem that social media can create, either intentionally or unintentionally, and that's the addictive design that we all experience when on social media. It's designed to keep us hooked. It's designed to keep us there, engagement and things like that, keep our brains running on dopamine. It just means the longer we stay, the better it is for the platform. They get more money and we lose more brain cells. But that design relies on validation, specifically on social media, like likes, comments, followers, and notifications. I mean, imagine you see posts making fun of a hairstyle that you happen to have. That might make you feel like shit. May make you feel a little bit insecure for a moment. But then when you post a picture of yourself with that same haircut, and then all your friends are gassing you up, calling you pretty or handsome, you get a bunch of likes and comments. That validation excites. It feels good, especially after being hurt on social media with the trend. So your brain starts wanting more of it. And over time, that can create a cycle where you depend on social media's feedback just to simply feel confidence. Leah, do you feel like people sometimes rely on likes or comments just for validation, that little dopamine rush?
Oh, 1000%. That is actually why Instagram removed the feature to permanently keep the like count public. You can actually remove that because to some people it's so embarrassing to them. Like, it really does determine their reputation, and it's an addictive cycle to get the dopamine rush, and you're eventually going into these little short waves of dopamine, trying to do anything that'll get attention while you could be studying or doing something more productive. You're just stuck in the cycle that you've been forced to be in since you were younger.
Yeah, and that cycle of constant validation cravings it'll eat you up. But overall, social media, as much of a bad light as we spoke on it, isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's a sword that's dangerous on both ends. It connects people, spreads information, but that information can be false. And social media does also build communities, but those communities can also vary in their whether negative or positive. But the key is to being aware of how it can influence the way we think about ourselves and the people around us. We talked about a lot today: social media comparison theory, unrealistic standards, and the addictive design of social media platforms. And once you're aware of this, it's easier to keep social media from controlling about how you feel about your life. It'll make you feel safe, more secure. And Leah, if you had a piece of advice to young adults about social media, what would that be?